I mean, in terms of the U.S. market, it's turning green, so that is good. But we did get some encouraging data, sort of. Okay, a lot of economic data is pretty bad right now. Private payrolls grew by just 150,000, came in below estimate, way below estimate of 160,000. Okay, that means that less people got jobs, which is bad. Initial jobless claims went up higher than expected. Okay, so that's 2 for 2, bad news. And then jobless claims surged 1.84 million in a week, ending in June 15th, the highest level since 2021. Well, that's also bad. Okay, so we got a lot of bad economic data. So that is good. Very, very good. You know why? Because this gives Powell ammunition to cut rate, right? So that's what we want. We want bad economic news, and then we want inflation numbers to go down. So the next thing that we need to look forward to is like the CPI. And if the CPI shows we're going down, then, you know, Powell has no choice but to start cutting rates early, right? So we're in one of those bizarro times where bad economic data is actually good for markets. You can see right there, weak economic data right at the on top, right? That's actually a good thing right now. And I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whenever it comes to rate cuts, that's how Wall Street sees it. Sometimes they have to go by what's the opposite of good or bad, right? So I guess that's good. That's good. What caused Bitcoin to go below 60,000 today, right? Because everything I just said is good, because once we get a rate cut, that's going to be a huge catalyst for all markets to start going crazy upwards, including crypto market. But today, what drove it below, right? Well, just briefly. Well, a lot of people think it has to do with Mt. Gox. Okay. What is going on with Mt. Gox? We know that the trustee said that in July, the 140,000 Bitcoin that they have, he's going to start distributing. So that's exactly what's happening right now. Okay. It does seem like there are a lot of creditors. Just they could be companies, they could be individuals, whoever. There are a lot of distributions right now. Just a few days ago, they moved $9 billion worth of Bitcoin, okay? Mt. Gox did. And now you're starting to see a whole lot of Bitcoin being deposited into various exchanges like Binance. So, for example, some whale deposited 1,000 Bitcoin, 62 million to Binance. And then some other whale deposited 1,700, which is 106 million to Binance, right? And of course, the prices started dropping shortly afterwards. So it does seem like there are large whales right now selling. And now we are speculating, okay, that it's probably due to Mt. Gox. And Mt. Gox is giving out the larger amounts to these people, and maybe these people are selling. But it could be that it has nothing to do with Mt. Gox and just due to fear, some whales are selling. We don't know. So I guess we'll have to see the rest of this month, besides Germany still selling, whether or not we're going to see a huge amount of large deposits into Binance and other exchanges. If we continue to see them, then most likely I think we can make the conclusion that it is the Mt. Gox distribution, right? So I think that's exactly what's happening right now. If you want to comment on anything I've said in this video, make sure you head over to the Roundtable. The Roundtable is a new social media platform created for conversations. And best of all, it's spam-free, bot-free, unlike here on YouTube. And you could have conversations with me and others like Altcoin Daily, Scott Melker, Mauro Nafal, and many others are joining daily. And you also get rewarded in tokens for doing so. So check out the new Roundtable, click the link in the description below. And you can see, despite the fact that ETFs are net positive, yesterday was very small, only minus 14 million outflow, but BlackRock still continued to buy. So right now, despite the fact that Wall Street is still trying to eat up what is being sold, It's hard to overcome some of these whales, especially like Germany that's dumping on the open market, right? And some of these whales are dumping on the open market too. So that's what's happening, right? Now, there could be a chance this is all done on purpose also. It has nothing to do with Mt. Gox because there is a big closing, okay? There's a CME gap that just hit. And of course, we always know that there are a lot of futures and options at play, right? That always happens. Every single month, we do have some manipulation going on to hit certain levels. But you know what? We did close out this CME gap. A lot of people don't understand what a CME gap. This came out of 2017 when futures were introduced. Because a normal stock market does have openings and closings, there are times when, say, the market closes and Bitcoin shoots up or shoots down and there's a big gap when it does open again, right? So there's this phenomenon where if you have this gap, you need Bitcoin to either come down or go above and hit it once again to close the gap, okay? So a lot of people think this was done on purpose to close that CME gap that we had right around $60,000, like that. Okay, well, okay. So if that was the case, that's done, right? But you know, again, we do not know that's exact reason why, or none of what I just said has anything to do with anything. And it was just due to technicals or due to some whales just randomly selling, right? But if I had to guess, I really do think that it's probably, now we're seeing a little bit more sell pressure, probably from the Mt. Gox people, right? That maybe the large amounts that were distributed are being sold off by companies that own them and they really need them, right? So if I had to guess, that's the reason. But you know what? Is this going to drive Bitcoin significantly lower? Is it going to drive Bitcoin to 30,000, 40,000, low 50s, mid 50s? At this point in time, I will say no. I think Bitcoin is resilient. Just like I showed with Wall Street inflows, there are a lot of people that recognize this is a golden opportunity to buy. And that's because a lot of people realize that, hey, that's what you're supposed to do. You buy low and you sell high. You don't buy high and sell low, right? And there are a lot of smart money that are doing that. You got one of the biggest banks that has close to $1 billion in assets, right? Saying that Bitcoin is going to hit all-time high by August. This is from a bank, right? And the CEO could not be more bullish on Bitcoin. And we know MicroStrategy is continuing to do it. Metaplan is starting to do it. And other major companies around the world are starting to look at a Bitcoin strategy, adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet, right? Because these guys are starting to understand. Just like retail, just like the long-term holders, they understand that when things are scary, when things are down, right, that's when you're supposed to buy the dip, right? It's like your favorite grocery store item or a favorite box item store or favorite, I don't know, Amazon item. Now 20, 30% off, right? You should love it more now than before. That's how you should look at it, because throughout Bitcoin's history, we do have a lot of FUD. Sometimes we do have selling. Sometimes it just seems like nothing is going right and it could all collapse. And usually when you can't take it anymore and you're about to sell, you're on the verge of selling, or you do cause yourself to sell due to the FUD, that's usually when things turn around. It just happens every single time.